Hey everybody, this is Jas5991, and today I'll be giving a review on the PC port of Vanquish. Before I continue, I thought I should clarify why I'm making a new video review on a game that's essentially 7 years old by now. Firstly, it's because I've never actually played it on original release. So it leads me to be in a very unique position in that I don't have anything to compare it to. I don't have any nostalgia factor, and I can look at it with fresh eyes, and seeing as I've never played it before, I can see how it compares in today's modern gaming scene. And I would also like to emphasize this is not a port report. There are much more qualified YouTubers such as Total Biscuit who have done excellent port reports on Vanquish, and I feel that you should check them out if you want to know how this game holds up on PC. So anyway, on to the review. Vanquish was developed by Platinum Games and released on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 on the 19th of October 2010. It got a port later on the 25th of May 2017. It's essentially a third-person shooter, but it has bullet hell elements, Max Payne's bullet time, and Gears of War's cover shooting. The basic premise goes that Russia launches an attack on San Francisco, utterly destroying it, and as Sam, the main character, you're tasked with putting an end to it. You go onto the Russian space station, and you essentially have to take down the big baddie. That's pretty much it for the story. I mean, it's not exactly a huge emphasis in the game. And honestly, this is a good thing. I mean, the game is well aware of it. So a bit more info on the character you'll actually be playing as. You play as Sam Gideon, a DARPA researcher who operates the augmented reaction suit. What it does is it enhances the reflexes of Sam, but to the player, it sort of slows down time. And in my opinion, it's much better than the Crisis Nanosuit. It makes the Crisis Nanosuit look lame in comparison. It gives the user super speed, way more than whatever the Crisis Nanosuit does. It takes a nuke without worry. And it actually gives the user enhanced reflexes. So what are my initial impressions on the game? What did I think when I just started it up? Honestly speaking, I didn't have a good time at all, and I really hated it. I died too quickly, and I was having a horrible time, and this was on playing on regular difficulty. But once I learned the combat style and using the suit properly, once I learned what the game expected of me as a player, that's when I began to love it. The game doesn't want you to play it as a cover shooter. It wants you to play it as a hyper-reflexive, basically superhero. I realized though that this game makes it way too easy to play as a generic cover shooter. But you gotta sort of expand your horizons, you gotta explore the concept of using bullet time in different situations to really begin to enjoy the game. So the game starts off with a tutorial section. The great thing about the tutorial is it's completely optional. You can select specific modules to learn, so you don't have to learn, press W to move forward. Or you can go through everything, or you can just skip it entirely. It teaches the basics of combat, like how to initiate the enhanced reflexes mode, but it doesn't teach you the more advanced movements, like bump sliding and going to reflex mode, or performing a melee attack and then enabling reflex mode, which I think is pretty cool. It lets the player discover on their own what they can really do with the suit. It allows the player some room for experimentation as well. So the whole game happens on a space station, except from the inside it doesn't really look like one. I mean, there's highways, office buildings, underpasses, a monorail. Seems more like a city, a place for people to live, and less of a military battle station. But this is where the main combat of the whole game happens. The only reminder you get that you are actually in space is during cutscenes, or during one particular 0G section, which I thought was honestly pretty cool. I really wish they had more of that in the game. Unfortunately, it comes in one brief section, and then it's over and done with. I also wish they had been a bit more creative with that one 0G section. I mean, most of the enemies were basically on the same plane as you were. If they had enemies that could bounce around to different surfaces, or, they were basically all around and required you to be more reactive and more strategic in how you approach the situation, that would have really made it stand out more. But as it is, all you get is this brief taste of a really cool concept, and that's it. I really wish they had more of that. The gameplay mainly consists of a cover-based shooter, but the game also really strongly emphasizes that you don't use cover. And honestly speaking, that's not a bad thing. The suit is just crazy fun to use. I mean, you can move really fast. You can slow down time. You can take your time popping headshots with a sniper rifle. Why would you want to stick in cover and take your time to take a shot? The game is really about resource management. The suit has a finite amount of energy, and you don't want to run out. If you run out of energy, you generally move slower, and you do not have any movement advantage or any combat advantage. And this is a tough thing. Remember how I said that it's a game about bullet hell as well? It had elements of bullet hell? Well, the advantage you have is that you can slow down time and react quicker. But if you can't react quicker, if you don't have bullet time, your advantage is gone. That's when you have to run into cover, hide, and plan your next move, or wait for the suit to recharge, as is most cases. Fortunately, it doesn't take long, but still, those moments are really harrowing, and all you can do is just hope that your suit charges just in time so you can dodge the next flurry of attacks. This was a pretty cool touch with the cigarette. Sam is a chain smoker, but you can actually use his chain smoking to your advantage. When you smoke a cigarette, you toss it away later, and what it does is it makes the enemy robots, focus their fire on that instead. This leaves them open to attack. You can either pop a few headshots off or toss a grenade to take them out. And I thought, it's pretty funny, but pretty cool. Anyone could have just implemented a gimmick just to make the character look cool, but instead Platinum have gone the extra mile and made it a tactical decision that you can use to gain another advantage. Also, it helps to just give you a breather. I mean, amidst all the gunfire being directed at you, it's nice to just, toss a cigarette and have a moment to breathe on the battlefield. One thing I didn't like about the gameplay though was that some of the enemies have really cheap attacks that just ignore cover completely. I can understand where they're coming from with this. They're trying to get players to move around. This is a game that's literally all about being able to move at incredible speed. So of course they want to get you to get out of cover. But the thing is, these cheap attacks just completely ignore cover altogether. And it's awful to get when you are stuck behind cover and your suit is on cooldown. It's frustrating, it leads to a lot of cheap deaths. But fortunately, those attacks are used sparingly, so that's the only saving grace. Does it make it any less annoying? No. In fact, it just enrages you even more, or at least it enraged me. Of course, you might say that I might just not be as good a gamer. But honestly speaking, guys, if there was a cover system in a game, and there was an attack that completely ignored cover, would you have a good time as well? Another cool aspect of it is that instead of improving the character's abilities, you instead improve the weapons. The weapons get better the more of them you scan, which is the game's way of saying picking up a weapon. And the more you scan, the more upgrade points you get, to a point where the weapon itself goes up a level. And when it goes up a level, either its capacity increases, its accuracy increases, or its damage increases. And I actually appreciate this. Rather than blocking off certain skills behind an artificial wall, they give you all the tools for movement and player combat in the beginning and incentivize you to look around for weapons you already have to improve them further to just make the combat a little bit easier. But at the end of the day, it's still your own skill that's improving, and it's still your own skill that helps you get past combat situations. No amount of upgrade points or combat abilities or unlockable skills will actually help you get on. Still, at the end of the day, down to you, and upgrading your weapons only makes it a slight bit easier. So overall, gameplay wise, it's easy to learn, hard to master, and without a doubt, it's crazy fun. So would I recommend this game to newcomers? Especially to newcomers, seeing as that's the perspective I'm going from. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Gameplay and mechanics are solid. There is nothing at fault with them. In fact, every death you experience is completely your own. There's a depth in the mechanics. And as I said before, the tutorial only teaches the basics. You still have to discover what you can really do with the suit. And that's really cool. The story is also irrelevant, and the game knows that. Remember what I said earlier? Yeah, well, the game knows you're there for the crazy bullet time, for the crazy speed, and for the fun action. Why would they want to shoehorn you down with the story mode? So overall, it's just a really fun game, and I definitely recommend it, whether on sale or at full price. I find nothing at fault with it, and honestly speaking, I had a great time finishing the game. So yeah, that's my review for Vanquish. Definite recommend. And until the next video, this is Jazz5991, signing out.